saying, they also agreed that they would use that 6-year period between 2005 and 2011 to make unity attractive. So the intention was not to separate. Let's make unity attractive so that by the time you have the referendum in 2011, let the people vote for this attractive unity. So I'm saying that's generally, basically, would be the sentiment shared around the continent against any notion of the further fragmentation and balkanization within the continent. All the African countries are characterized by this diversity in terms of culture, in terms of language, and then so on. I don't think there's any African country that doesn't have that kind of diversity. Some more than others. So Nigeria, the fact that you have the Igbo people who live together with the Yorubas and the Hausa and the Fulani and so on, there's nothing in it which suggests that because you've got these different identities, therefore you must establish different territorial things called states. I mean, if you take this country, here you've got, how many official languages do we have? 11. 11 official languages. Now you see, Venda and Shangaan and Xhosa and Zulu and Tswana and there's English now. Now, sure, these are identities. Language-wise, culture, I'm not so sure. But the fact that they are there in these identities should not necessarily lead to the conclusion, therefore, they need to secede from one another to form little mini-states. As Africans, the challenge we face is to how to unite in diversity. And that's a problem in Cameroon. That's a problem in Cameroon. It's not for, in my view, for a portion of Cameroon to secede and maybe link up with Nigeria, but that the Cameroonians should indeed, and President Paul Biya needs to lead a process so that the Cameroonians get together and say, what is it that we do in order to make sure that we live together as one people? You see the tensions that are accompanying the current elections in Sierra Leone. With the Sierra Leone's People's Party in the south, which is strongest in the south of the country, competing with the All People's Congress. And unfortunately, that conflict, which is political, but underlying it is also ethnic identities. So again, you see, I think it would be wrong to say, in order to resolve that tension and so on, split the country into two. I think what we would want to say is, let's, as Sierra Leoneans, get together and say, what is it that divides us? And what is it that we need to do in order that we unite? And part of what has divided people on the continent, and Sierra Leone is an example, is, my party wins the elections. And I then, I'm President Gumede. But instead of seeing myself as a president of this country and all its people, I see myself in practice as president of the people who elected me. So you get a discrimination in terms of distribution of resources, access to power, and all of this. And that's what causes the tension. It's not so much a colonial boundary. It's the misgovernance that then causes this tension. That's what I'm saying that. And then in the end, people will then say, because we are disadvantaged, because in Nigeria,